problem 2, we're going to use those trig ratios in order to find a distance. Okay, so you might not be able to see this. It might be a little bit hard. So here I have this little triangle right here. It's based on this image of the Leaning Tower of Pisa. And it's saying this angle, well, let me just draw it over here, okay? So it's saying this angle right here is 5 degrees, okay? And then it says this height right here, this height is 150 degrees. And so in 1990, they were working on it. They closed it down to work on this, fix this angle because it was leaning too far. So the engineers wanted to tilt, to reset it to 5 degrees instead of the 5.5. So suppose someone drops an object of the tower, the height 150 feet. So we're dropping an object 150 feet, and we want to see how far from the base. So how far is it here? Okay. So we can use our trig ratios to find this out. We want it to the nearest foot. Okay. So we look at the angle of our reference. Okay. And then we look at what side we're trying to find in relationship to that angle. And we look at the side that we're given. So we always are referencing an angle, and what is the sides given based on the angle, based on angle given. Okay, well, what is this side across from that 5 degrees, that angle? Well, that would be opposite. And what side is this? That is the adjacent. And what I would recommend always doing is figuring out where the right angle is first. So here's the right angle, and finding that hypotenuse. Okay, so always find the hypotenuse first and then label the other two sides based on the angle that you're given. So which trig function, sine, cosine, or tangent has an opposite and adjacent in it? Well, that's right here. TOA. Tangent deals with O and A. O for opposite, A for adjacent. So we're going to use tangent. So tangent of our angle, it's always of an angle, which is 5 degrees, and it equals the opposite side over the adjacent side. Well, my opposite side I don't know, so that's why we use x or any other variable, and over the adjacent side. I think I just wrote add, but adjacent. Sorry about that. Adjacent side, which is 150. And so now we're just solving this. So we have tan of 5 equals x over 150. Well, how do you get x by itself? How do you get rid of dividing by 150? You multiply by 150. So in my calculator later, there's a TAN button. And so you're going to find that, and you're just going to type it just how it is. 150. You're going to push that TAN button. It's going to bring up a parenthesis. You put in 5, you close that parenthesis, and you hit enter. Okay, now what you might have to do is you might have to make sure your calculator's in the right mode. So if you hit mode, somewhere find the mode on your calculator. You might have to hit shift or second first and then hit mode. And then you have a listing, and you want to look for, because this is degrees, we want to look for in a DEG. So my calculator is, after I hit mode, I have to hit number 3 to make sure it's in degrees. Okay, and so once it's in degrees, then I can go ahead and hit 150. I can hit that TAN button for tangent. It brings up a parenthesis. I push 5, and I close that parenthesis, and then I push enter, and it gives me 13.1. And so that's telling me that I'm going to be 13.1 away, and it says to the nearest, so that's 13 feet away. So that's how far I'm away from the base. Okay, so that's problem number 2. Here's your got it, okay? So you're trying to find what W is. Think about what that is in relationship to the angle you're given and what that 17 represents. Okay, for B, think about what W is in relation to the angle and what 1.0 is in relationship. Write your trig ratios first, and then go ahead and solve for your variable.